Most welcome to Humanist TV Africa. You are most welcome to Humanist TV Africa. This is your host, Kato and of course, is Humanist TV Africa, which is networked all over the world. We have studios in African countries such as Uganda, Kenya, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana, and others. And we're opening up more studios in different countries in Africa. We're also opening up more studios in Europe, where we have a studio in the UK and a studio in the US. I want to encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, but also our Facebook page, which is Humanist TV Africa, but also to write to us, send us an email at info@humanisttvafrica.com or a WhatsApp message at +254 7473 56767. You may write to us, and of course, our communication officers, our spokespersons will be able to talk with you. Remember, we are a charity organization registered as an NGO to continue providing these services to you, especially in the media industry. We're opening up more studios all over the world, doing the work we love to do. Our intention is to empower, inspire, educate, and inform our people, of course, with some bit of entertainment here and there. This is Humanist TV Africa. My name is Kato Mukasa. I'm a Ugandan lawyer interested in issues, human rights, development, and progress of humanity. And of course, with my team all over the world, we always feature here and we share with you a number of issues. In the studio today is Dennis Bongole, who is doing the production right in Uganda. And of course, in the gang show is my gang member, President Nana Akufo, the president in waiting from Ghana, Kumasi, right there. The man who is Wesley Snipes, I don't know how they call him that. And of course, is the guy, as you can see right there. Now, in the studios, we shall be joined by our Nigerian friend, Sir Nandip Bongfa, who is still battling with the internet to be able to join us. And of course, we shall be joined by Emmanuel Mambu, who is a Sierra Leonean, also interested in issues human rights. And of course, we hope that we are going to have a blast in the new year. This is Dean Kruger. Dean Kruger says, good evening, guys. Our brother Dean Kruger is a South African humanist atheist leader right there in South Africa. Dean, thank you so much for tuning in the new year. Welcome, Sir Nandip Bongfa. Welcome, Dean Kruger, South Africa. And of course, welcome, Nana Akufo in Ghana. Now, I will start with Nana Akufo. And today, we are going to do something very, very unique. The show is back. The show, which is The Gang, is back. Hallelujah. Praise your God. And remember, I'm a God too. So praise your gods. Hallelujah. The Gang is back. Now, today, we are going to look at the year 2023 in perspective and we give our own analysis in brief, the highlights that made 2023, but also every one of us is going to predict what 2024 is going to be. Let us become prophets for once. I'm telling you, today, I'm going to speak words that are going to happen in the next 12 months. They call them predictions. So I want to hear from Nana, your predictions for this year. I want to hear from Nandip, your predictions for this year. For example, you can tell us that me, I'm going to become poor. I'm predicting I'm going to become a beggar on the streets of Nigeria. You can make that prediction. And of course, we shall allow you to make it fast. Anyway, we are going to predict how the year is going to go in terms of politics, in terms of economy, in terms of religious influence. We are going to make serious predictions. Believe you me, I'm going to predict things that are going to happen in this year. Follow me cleanly. I'm going to predict things that are going to happen in this year. And I'm going to predict things in Asia. I'm going to predict things in the US. I'm going to predict things in Africa. I'm just giving you a summary of my predictions. And I'm going to analyze for you what I've observed in Asia in last year, what I've observed in Africa in last year, what I've observed in the Americas in last year. And I'm going to make predictions, which people are going to call me a prophet. Now, I want people to call Nana a prophet. When we come here in January 2025, we shall play this video, a few things from it, and say, Ghana said we are going to have a year of ABCD. Nandip said we are going to have this in this year. Did it happen? So this is a unique program in which all of us are going to become gods, in which all of us are going to become the main God. Yes, we are going to become prophets in a way, and we predict things that are going to happen. So people are going to say, oh, humanists are prophets. Yes, prophets of reasoning, prophets of rationale, and prophets of science and deductive reasoning. Now, this is the program, the key highlights of 2023 and predictions for 2024. I will start with none other than Nana Kufo from Kumasi, Ghana.
Thank you, my senior comrade, and I'll call you Prophet Nostradamus. Uh, 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 but of all, I want to thank you the good job you are doing for the African continent and the whole world, like, and also to thank the humanist media organization, the volunteers who have volunteered their time, their resources, the time they can even use to spend with their family. They have volunteered it for the good of the public. So thank you very much. And one good news I have to tell the public before I start with my prediction. You know, Emmanuel TV of the Synagogue Church of All Nations have been removed from the DSTV, have been removed from DSTV and other big media network. So I'm really glad. If I have my wine with me, I think small by small, little by little, all these charlatans on our media landscape will all run away from it, and it will be institute with Humanist TV Africa. So as Emmanuel TV is being chased away, it is good enough for us to strive as much as possible by the end of this year to also go and replace Emmanuel TV. So I think this is my prediction for Humanist TV, and I think it will come true. It will come true. Now to start with my prediction, let me go back to last year. Last year, 2023, we were able to make it, and I'm really glad I made, because I never knew I could make 2023, and here I am, and we are going definitely 2024. We are going to complete all the 365 days of 2024, and it's a prediction that will come true. So don't just discard it as it's no. This is not a prediction. It's a prediction, because we have to predict what we think might come true, and we'll all be alive next year to work towards 2025. 2023, Ghana as a whole was somehow, for me, wasn't good, because uh, it pushed more people into poverty. People, marriages were broken down, families were broken down. Families broke down last year. A lot of families, a lot of marriages, and people lost their job. Many entrepreneurs are running away from the country, and our teachers and our nurses, over 10,000 teachers, absconded to the United Kingdom, and more of our nurses are also running away. Basically, the youth is running away from Ghana, and that is what everybody is seeking for. Everybody is seeking for transportation to go to the United States or the Europe or even Asia, even China. People are even people are paying money to go to the Emirates and these other Arab countries, which I don't think I should mind my words this year, or I would have said. So the Ghanaian youth, all of them are running away, and it seems on us to tell them that no, this is our motherland, and it is up to us to stay and make this place a better place for our children. Because if we run away, who is going to make this place a better place for our children? It will be chaos. Then we all be refugees in other people's land. So people will continue to run away, but I'm praying to the God of Mukasa that things will be better, so that we will stay in our motherland, we will stay in
Mm.
our fatherland, and build a better future for Ghanaians. And going forward, I'm predicting this year many
Don't
men
predict.
of God.
Wait. Let us first analyze the year. Prediction will come in the second phase of the program. Analyze the
Okay,
year from Ghana's
okay,
perspective, from Africa's perspective, from the world's perspective.
yeah. Last year there was a lot of numerous coup d'etat, especially in our West African region, and it is all good, because we have an adage in Akan that Papa Nyekri Aboniso Nyekri, to wait, if if goodness is nothing, then bad thing too is nothing. If goodness is nothing, then bad too is nothing. So there was a lot of coup d'etat around our neighboring countries, Burkina, Niger, Mali, um, and other couple of countries too wanted to do, but it is up. I don't believe in the military taking weapons and taking over the country. I believe in revolution, and we didn't learn our lessons 2023, and we are continuing in our ignorance. This year, last year, the government of Ghana tried as much as possible to keep us in the dark, not the electricity per se, but to keep us as unintelligent as possible, uh, collecting loans from these hyenas, from the World Bank, being like most of our government officials spending the nation resources as if the world is coming to an end. They were building castles. I'm not saying the air, but castles right here with us, while people go on hungry stomachs every day. But it is the same people who are fighting for these politicians, and they did well. They managed. Nothing happened. They went. They went scot free. Um, but this year is an election year, so I don't know. Maybe they try to start the money somewhere and release it into the public domain so that they can able to pay bribe for votes. But on the other hand,
Thank
too,
you.
okay,
I'm going to
uh-huh.
stop you there.
Okay,
But I have to say that your analysis has been more on Ghana, which is okay, but also briefly on West Africa, which is again okay. Now I want to turn to the Tarok man, the man with a hoodie, Sir Nandip Bongfa, all the way from the Tarok land in Abuja, Nigeria. Uh, Nandip,
Yes,
tell us,
comrade.
how did you see the year 2023? What is your analysis?
Yes, thank you, comrade Katu, very much. Thank you also, comrade Danka Nana. See, before I continue, there's a question I want to ask. How can we fix Africa? I'm taking this question from Nana talks about youth living Africa, youth
Mm.
living Ghana, searching for greener pasture. Going to the US or England. The same thing happening here in Nigeria too. Everyone is living a country. We call it here Jakba. Jakba, that is moving from one country to another for a greener pasture or good employment. Now, for the year 2023, it has been, to me, it's bad in the sense that we held our election, which ushered in the new government, of which President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, which has been elected as the president of Nigeria, of which has a lot of controversy, of which it runs into litigation, court cases, until some of the corrupt judiciary allegedly saw him and accepted him as our president, of which many of the youth never vote for our current president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You see, and he has introduced a lot of policies which didn't favor most of the masses or the poor people in this country. They talk about a policy about a student loan, of which when you graduated from your secondary school, if you don't have money to proceed into your university, you can get the loan and forward into your university, first degree, second degree, PhD, and all that. Then when you get a job, then you can be able to pay the government back. All this policy is not for the common man or the common people, children. It's just for the bourgeoisie, and it's just for a way of embezzling and corrupting and siphoning and stealing money from the Nigerian people. Now, when this present government came in, they increased the fuel price. We produce fuel in Nigeria, but the common man cannot be able to afford to buy a fuel. Not even to his generator, of which we have a lot of epileptic power supply in this country. So 2023 for most of us is hard. Now, let's look at the government spending so far. The government buy, over 300 SUV. Expensive. One can cost about more than 300 million Nigerian naira, of which we have a company here in Southeast that produces such SUV cars. And because of corruption in this dear country of ours, they said our manufacturing car company, it cannot produce those cars that can withstand the road that we have. You see, this is an indictment to the government. We have been in democracy for more than 20 years. This government comes and go. The other comes and go. They are not fixing road. They are not fixing power. They are not creating job employment opportunity to the masses, but only the politicians enjoying what is happening. Let me divert a little bit to Niger, Sierra Leone, Burkina Faso, those West African countries that has military taking over the government of the affairs of the country. You see, their citizens now, they are a little bit having a lot of, gain of the new changes in regime into military. I love military government. My father was an ex-soldier. During his time, there's no suffering, misery that we are having now as a democratic elected government. All our representatives, let me come back now to Nigeria, all our representatives, everyone is there for his own pocket, for his own cronies, for his own family and associates. The poor masses, they never gain anything in this goddamn democracy. Now, we also discussed the democracy necessary for Africa last year. With the party lead here, I said, no, we don't need democracy. Kato, you are here. Nana, you are here when we discuss about these things. Check out those West African countries that has military taking over. They chase all those European people that came and steal our mineral resources and take it out to their own country to develop them into a paradise that our youth that's supposed to cease and work and make our dear Africa better. They decide to go to Europe, Asia, to look for a greener pasture. This is bad, and this is what wrong. Recently, a lot of the ministers in the Nigerian government have been inducted into serious corruption allegations. One of it has been suspended. We call her Beta Edu. It's a female minister of humanitarian, stealing billions of naira that is meant for the poor people. You can see, do we actually need this democracy? I really said no. These people supposed to be killed, not even pardoned. They are criminals, like the way they will catch a thief that steals a chicken or goat, and then they will beat that person to death. Those criminals that put most of us into much misery and poverty should be killed. Although humanists doesn't support taking of life. What more than a person that caused millions of people into misery and death? So that bad weed is supposed to be uprooted and thrown into dungeon forever. So Nigeria in 2003 has been bloody. On December 24th, 2023, my dear state, Plateau State, three local governments have been ransacked by bandit, terrorists, and Islamic jihadists. Kill more than 200 people of ours on the Christmas Eve. Many of them, they are innocent. Why? Is it a land grabbing? The government is not telling us. Is it trying to Islamize our states. Nobody is even telling us, of which we have military in every checkpoint on the plateau. So how could bandits, terrorists come into the states with more than 200 bikes, with 3 people on a bike with their rifles? Those rifles, very sophisticated, that they can take you away more than 5 meters or more than 5 miles away. Yes, of which our Nigerian military don't have such sophisticated rifles. There is much corruption in the security apparatus in Nigeria too. Trillions of naira, not millions, not billions, budgeted for the military in Nigeria. But you will discover the military doesn't have vehicles, doesn't have modern guns, equipment, satellite drones. They don't have it. The excuses they gave to the 24th of December terrorist attack in my state is that the terrain is very, very difficult.
I have to stop you there. I have to stop you there because you will not stop. Therefore, I'm going to stop you there with your analysis of 2023. In my and when I was listening attentively, you talked more about your country, Nigeria, and briefly about the countries that have got coups in Africa. Thank you so much for your analysis. I want to start my analysis right now of the year 2023. And I'll begin it on a sad note that in that year we lost our sister Linda Tilly, who passed on about 3 months ago. About 3 months ago, Linda left us, which is a big blow to Humanist TV Africa, but also humanists all over the world. We really pay tribute to Linda Tilly, and we shall give Linda Tilly a minute of silence as we enter 2024. So we are going to give a minute of silence to honor our friend Linda Tilly. Yes, that is our kind of African way to honor our great people. Don't say godless things. We just give a minute of silence and remember what the good things that person did when she was or he was with us. As for Linda Tilly, she was a great friend of ours and a motivator and someone who was there as the idea of Humanist TV Africa was being bad. So we remember Linda Tilly and we want to say, yes, it was a big blow for the humanist community to lose Linda Tilly. Now, let me give you a brief analysis of the year 2023 from my own perspective. I will start with Africa. I am a Ugandan 311. I'm a Ugandan 311 completely, an African, of course, a black African. Now, having said that, my country, Uganda, continued to worsen every month of last year. My country, Uganda, performed so bad, and I've been writing about it. I say my country, Uganda, is a failed state. And I wish, Nandip, may you please mute your audio for now so that we don't get the echo. For now, I wish, Nandip, you could mute. If you could mute the audio, Nandip, and Nana Kufo, please mute for now. Just mute. And once I'm done, please unmute. Now, thank you so much. The echo is gone. I will start with my country, Uganda, a country I call a failed state, simply because it has had one senile, tired dictator, smart dictator in the name of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who has been ruling this country for the last 37 years. The country is ranked among the poorest countries, resource cash-wise. My country, Uganda, is among the richest countries in the world when you go by resources, not that. Resources. We have all the minerals you may think about. Many countries in Europe don't have the resources we have in Uganda, yet these countries are richer than Uganda. And therefore they call us a third world country when we have more resources than these countries. So sometimes I'm hesitant to say my country is poor. My country is rich in terms of resources, but cash-wise, my people are poor. And why? Number one is ourselves, the leadership. So for me, before I look at people outside Africa, I look at Africa and ourselves as our own enemies. We have had one president, Nandip and Nana. We have had one president for 37 years. This president owns everything in the country, including owning our lives. That therefore, you can be arrested anytime on any trumped-up charges. The country is highly indebted. When you talk about highly indebted poor countries, Uganda is mentioned. When IMF was mentioning countries that are highly indebted, last year, Uganda was mentioned. Now, Uganda is poorly governed. It's a family affair. One family, not one tribe, one family rules my country. Not one tribe, one family rules my country. Because even people from the so-called tribe of the president are suffering, are poor. I come from almost that side where the president comes from. So I know what I'm talking about. So my country, as an analysis, has been a country that has been failed. I call it a failed state because our economy is failing. The economy is crumbling. I can tell you, graduates from our universities in Uganda, teachers, social workers, etc., have gone to the Middle East to become slaves. There is modern day slavery in the Middle East, and I've been talking about this. Graduates from countries like Kenya, from countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, and many countries in Africa have gone to the Middle East to become slaves. I'm a lawyer who was working in Uganda. I'm a writer. I'm a human rights activist. Some of the challenges I faced in Uganda were the problems of talking about reality, and the people around you take you for an enemy. So when I hear Nandip and Nana saying people are running away from their countries, not everyone runs away from their country looking for a job. Sometimes most people run away when they have jobs like I did, but their lives are in danger. Because no serious lawyer like me who had a job, who is qualified, would like to run away in a country where it's not respected. In a country where I cannot do the work I was doing in this country. No serious lawyer can do that. No serious engineer can do that. No serious doctor can do that. If you are okay in your country, you cannot run away. But if you are bad enough in your country, you can run away. So when we are looking at people running away, we have to understand the categories of people running away. They are educated people running away, highly skilled people running away, highly important, beneficial people running away from their countries. Why? Because they find that if they stay, they will be dead. If they stay, they will be like Mubarak Bala, who is in prison. So if Bala wanted to run away, I would have told him, Bala, run away. So running away per se is not a bad thing. If you have a chance to run away and your life is in danger, run away. So my analysis for my country, Uganda, has been a country in turmoil, and in March last year, our parliament, a useless body called the Parliament of Uganda, passed an anti-homosexuality law, and in May, another useless president in the world, the president of Uganda, signed this law into act. Now, hundreds of Ugandans have run away from Uganda because they are gay. Today, our organization is sponsoring people in Zambia and in Kenya who have run away from Uganda. I do send money to them. I send money to Ugandans in Zambia. I send money to Ugandans in Kenya who are refugees. So I speak out of experience because I send money to people on a weekly basis to survive in camps in Kakuma, in Kenya, to survive in camps in Zambia, Ugandans running away from their countries. So when you're analyzing these situations, look from the positive angle, but also the negative angle. Why do people run away? Sometimes the conditions in their countries are unbearable. And who is making this unbearable? Our leaders. Nigeria, you have been talking about corruption. Ghana, you talked about corruption. Who is teaching Nigerians corruption? Do you blame the West? Why? Why do you blame Europeans? You blame yourselves, damn Africans. Blame yourselves. We black people should blame ourselves first. Now, analysis for Uganda is over. Let us look for other countries and other countries in Africa. Remember, analysis for last year. Kenya simply went from one problem to another problem. And then Kenya had herself, got herself a dictator in another president called Samuel Ruto. Is a president who is also a biblical preacher, very corrupt. The president of Kenya they have today. They are going to have problems, as I'm going to predict later on. Now, look at other countries like Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone had serious turmoil in Sierra Leone. There was a lot of bloodshed. We have had our friends running away from Sierra Leone because people are being shot on the streets in Sierra Leone. Look at West Africa. Countries like Chad, Senegal, Gambia, Niger have had coups. And we have been here on HTV talking about coups in West Africa. West Africa is a hot cake when it comes to coups. Some of them have master's degrees in having coups. Others have PhDs in having coups. When coups come, regimes change. And Nandip says, hooray, thank you so much for chasing away the guys who were worshipping the Caucasians. And in comes the soldiers who behave almost the same way like the people they chased. So we had coups in Niger, we had coups in Chad, we had problems in Gambia, in Senegal, and in some of these other countries in West Africa, Gabon, Mali, Niger, Chad, Guinea, Burkina Faso. For your information, the most known countries for coups in Africa is Sudan. Interesting. But last year, it was saved out of a coup. Now, having looked at that, Africa was in a turmoil, but also Africa performed well. There are some countries in Africa which performed quite well in terms of economics, and I'm going to mention some of them. Countries in Africa that really performed well. Countries like Botswana performed well in terms of economy. Countries like Mozambique performed very well. Countries like Tanzania, my neighbor, performed very impressively well from the economic point of view. Countries like, those are countries in Africa. I'm talking about Africa now that performed very, very well. South Africa did quite well in terms of economy, and Egypt did rather well in terms of economy. Fast-growing economies in the world. Those are the economies in Africa, some of the fast-growing economies in Africa that really performed well in terms of economy booming, creating jobs and opportunities. Nigeria, backslid. Ghana, backslid. Uganda is a failed state. There was a problem there. Now, going forward, of course, let us look at other sectors. Let us look at Asia. Now, let me talk about Asia, the continent we call Asia. Asia had problems, but also Asia had some good fortunes. And of course, when I talk about Asia, I also add it with the so-called Middle East. Remember, I told you Middle East was initially part of Africa, the tectonic plate. But of course, now we say Middle East. Now, countries in Asia that performed quite well are the following. Singapore did very, very well. One of the fast growing economies in the world is Singapore. UAE, United Arab Emirates, performed very well in the year 2023. Another country was Taiwan, performed very well. Qatar performed very well. Saudi Arabia performed extremely well in the year 2023. I'm telling you, economies that performed so well in Asia. And of course, having said that, of course, there is Japan, and there is India, and there is China. Performed extremely well. The economies were doing much better than many other countries in the world. Now, overall, the countries that performed very well overall, number one was the US. Surprisingly, it is the largest economy with a GDP of $26.854 billion. USA ranked number one in terms of performing very well as an economy. And of course, USA was followed by China. Hand in hand, China was following USA very, very fast, doing very well. And actually, my prediction of China, I predict even before that China is going to overtake USA very, very soon. These Americans will become second fiddle very, very soon. China is taking over very, very soon. For now, USA is number one. Number two there, China did very well. Japan, surprisingly, did extremely well. And of course, Germany comes in there, France comes in there as countries that were promising last year, performing very well. And of course, Singapore, UAE, Taiwan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Germany, and other countries. They are improving economies in the year 2023. Now we're talking about the economy there. And of course, Africa, I should tell you about the BRICS. Remember the BRICS? Brazil, Russia, India, and China, and South Africa. They made a component called BRICS. BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. They have their own family. That family became so troublesome that the Americans and Europeans have been complaining about BRICS. They are afraid of BRICS. The Americans, as I speak, most people in Europe, these politicians in Europe are all talking about BRICS. BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Remember, they have their own policies and they've been against US imperialism. There, Mambu and Nandip is going to be smiling because I've talked about US imperialism. Yes, BRICS has been against US imperialism. And of course, we have seen BRICS talking about the war in Gaza. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa joined together and lambasted USA for sponsoring a massacre, a genocide in Gaza. You guys didn't talk about Gaza. There was Gaza. People have been killed. Over 20,000 people lost their lives in Gaza in the year 2023. And BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa stood against imperialism in BRICS. Other countries were quiet, apart from countries in Americas. Countries in Americas, not America, but countries in Americas, South American countries were up in arms against US imperialism in Gaza, US imperialism in Palestine, European imperialism in Palestine. Countries in South America were up in arms. They joined BRICS to say enough of your imperialism is enough. Stop massacring innocent Palestinians. So to me, I loved BRICS. I should say openly, yes, I loved BRICS. They did very well to tell imperialists, stop stop imperialism, stop advancing your imperialism. People have had enough. And of course, the war in Ukraine continued. 18 months and more and counting. The war in Ukraine continued, but this time the tempo had reduced because it was now covered by the events in Gaza. Now, these are economic war events that have been happening in the world. There have been coups in Africa. There have been troubles in Asia. There have been troubles in the Middle East. And of course, American imperialism has continued to go unabated. Remember, I'm against American imperialism. I don't apologize about that. But American imperialism has continued to conquer the world unabated. Americans are everywhere with their imperialism. They continue to assert themselves with their imperialism. I mean, their government. Now, having said that, that was what I observed in the year 2023. Of course, climate change issues became important. Climate. There have been protests because our climate, the ozone layer is getting destroyed by companies. The ozone layer, companies are dumping their wastes in our water bodies, by the way. We are taking more dirty water in the year 2023 because companies, I call them capitalists, who want profits against life principles. They are dumping stuff in our waters and destroying our waters. And of course, there have been a problem with fuel because of oil prices. Oil, petroleum. If you look at that from the economic point of view, there have been a bit of problems right there. And of course, I've talked about Trump, for example, in the US. Trump was disqualified. Who knew that Trump could face the law? I can tell you, I was like, hooray, Trump. The racist Trump actually was able to face some bit of disqualification. Of course, I don't support Trump, and I was happy with that. Of course, if we look at China, there is this man called Xi Jinping, the leader of China there, become more aggressive. The man is old, I think he's about 71 years old, and China is getting stronger. China's kind of dictatorship is what Nandip wants. These guys in China are no simple cup of tea. That's why the economy is also rising, by the way. There was a war in Gaza, Israel versus Gaza. Then there was an earthquake in Japan, which killed about 48 people there. Of course, in Britain, and in Britain, call it United Kingdom, the number of refugees, illegal immigrants coming to UK increased for the first time in thousands and tens of thousands. As I talk right now, UK has so many immigrants. It's historical. It's too bad in a way because people have been dying on the sea, on the waters. People have been mistreated so much. People have been taken to prison. There was a talk of taking people to Rwanda and all that. And of course, we have seen lots of racism in the UK, the Labour Party, and all these things. I tell you, Nana and Nandip, don't admire to come to these countries. Basically, not everything is actually rosy as you may think. There have been a lot of racism, there have been a lot of bad blood, a lot of bad talk about immigrants, especially from these other countries. They cross over from France with boats to the UK. And they have seen ministers that are openly racist in the UK. I should warn you that have been openly racist in the UK. So watch out. If you want to come to these countries, not everything is as good as you may think. But of course, the problem of refugees has also been very high in this country, I should say, which is not a good thing because sometimes countries are overburdened, honestly. Assuming your capacity is to take care of 1,000 refugees and you get 10,000, what do? You complain. They are right to complain. But sometimes the way they complain, sometimes it's racist in a way. But they are right to complain because the numbers have been so much. Okay? That was the UK in terms of refugees and all that stuff. Of course, South Korea, there was something which happened there. The leader of opposition in South Korea, the name is Ri Jae-myung, survived a stabbing. Someone came with a sword and wanted to kill him. The leader of South Korea opposition survived a killing. There have been inflation in many countries around the world, and of course, as I said, some economies performed very well, and other economies performed very, very bad. Now, last week in the year 2023, the following economies have been ranked as the fast growing economies in the world. Listen to this. The fast growing economies in the world in the year 2023 have been the following. They have been, surprisingly, in Africa, there's Cote d'Ivoire has been ranked as a fast growing economy in the world in the year 2023. It means that people in Cote d'Ivoire, call it Ivory Coast, are doing a few good things right. Georgia has been ranked. India has been praised for doing everything right in the year 2023. Tajikistan has been ranked. DRC, surprisingly, they have been saying that it is also doing things right in the year 2023. Democratic Republic of Congo has been doing a few things right to get our people out of poverty. Armenia and Mozambique, these are countries that have been ranked to have done a bit well in the year 2023. Now, that is my summary of 2023. I want us to go to the last segment, which is what is your prediction for 2024? But before that, Secular Advocacy TV says many people would believe their religion in Africa because the era of belief is dwindling to give away for knowledge. Secular Advocacy TV says many people would believe their religion in Africa because the era of belief is dwindling to give away for knowledge. Yeah, this is a prediction from Secular TV. They are saying we are going to see more secular people in Africa. I agree with you. That's a sharp prediction. Now, let's go back to Ghana. Ghana, what is your prediction for 2024? Whatever you say here, you shall come back in 2025 and say, you said this, did it happen? No, you are a bad prophet. Be a good prophet now. Unmute yourself, unmute yourself, unmute yourself, unmute yourself.
Thank you. Please, you can hear me. I said
yes.
We are in an election year and the opposition party will win massively. And I don't want the opposition party to come to power because they are come to do things over and over again. But I don't want to see this government again. It has been the worst government I've ever seen in my life. So we will all be happy to say goodbye to them. That's and another prediction is as the secular advocacy said, more people will believe. Yes, but not that much. Not that much. Because the reason why I'm saying is using the TB Joshua as a case study, the truth has been laid bare. I don't know if I've sat down and watched all the 3 episodes. I've sat down, watched it about 3 times. But on our social media, people are rather saying, no, the BBC guys are trying to sabotage the will of God. Pastors are and people are following what they are saying. So I think Africans will still continue to wallow in this abject ignorance of ours. But a few people will also see the other side of it and run away. That's why I want Humanist TV to have a platform on DSTV. With that, people can tune in and watch because most people like our live show right now. People can because data is very expensive here. They can't keep up with us. 1 hour of data, they can't keep up. They will just watch tidbits of it and they will leave. But if they're able to watch from the beginning to end, it will be a massive 10 point in their life. And I'm hoping people will get money to buy data so that they watch Humanist TV Africa. Another prediction I'm gonna make it. The coup d'etat is going to continue. There are other few African countries which, if you look from afar, I won't say Ghana. Ghana. It will be difficult for a coup to happen here in Ghana because uh, I don't know the reason by Ghanaians. I don't know, but looking from afar, many other countries will follow the tandem of what happened last year, especially in the francophone countries. And one other prediction too is people are going to run away from the country as it was last year. And I think it's going to be twofold or threefold because how the situation, how things are going, we are all advising our young brothers, our young ones to run away. We are all telling them that, Charlie, get some money for yourself and get a better place because the, the person might come back to you to ask you for money and you don't have anything to offer that person. So the best advice for the person to go to another country where he or she can make it. So I think that prediction will continue. I don't think it will stop right now. People are still are going to run away. And one other prediction I want to make it: our education system is going to collapse. It is going to collapse. The reason why I'm saying is last year, even last year with our West African Examination Council, the examiners have come out to say that many of the teachers, the invigilators, they connived with the students or with the candidates to cheat during the examination. And they are all going to the universities. And it is going to happen, it's going to worsen this year. So I've heard that they wanted to do something they call the exam they are going to do. I will write my exam. It will not be the same like the next person sitting to me. They are going to start a new thing altogether. It's just funny to me because you've been practicing this this type of examination for more than 30 years, yet people are cheating, and you are going to start a new one. I don't think it will work. So, and these students are moving into our tertiary education, and they are the same people who are going to. So I think our education system too is going to, go down. It's going to go down because the rate people, the students, everybody, the immorality is, especially in Ghana. I can't say much of other countries, but Ghana immorality is everywhere from our leaders, the so-called men of God, even our parents, everybody. Because right now you can't live a genuine life. Civil servants are stealing from the country. Politicians are stealing from the country. So there is a total breakdown of morality here in Ghana, and I think it's going to affect us. But we are going to have an election, and we are going to have election, and violence will not take precedence over our election. Our election is gonna go. It's gonna come free, but I don't know it will be fair. It will be free, but I don't know if it will be fair. And yeah, basically, I think this prediction must be noted down so that I don't know. Prophet Apj said this and that, so me too. I'll get my collection from them.
Profit from the prophet.
Prophecy doesn't come free or cheap. People have been collecting money from prophecy, so mine, I have to be paid for my prophetic.
Yeah, thank you, Prophet from Kumasi, Ghana. Dean Kruger from South Africa says that we need to teach our people how to think, not what they must think. That's a very good one, Dean. This is what we should be doing as Humanist TV Africa. Dean Kruger, leader of Atheist Republic South Africa, says we need to teach our people how to think, not what they must think. That's a good one. A resolution, but also something to think about going forward. Sanandip, unmute yourself. You can hear me. Unmute yourself. And please give us your predictions as a prophet from Abuja, Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you, Comrade Katu. Thank you, Nana, for this your prediction. And again, before I continue, I'll need to ask a question that how can we fix Africa? This is the question that I will always ask. Now, about prediction, I don't believe in prediction. I believe in result. So predictions cannot really got you what you really want. But then when you work towards it and be dedicated and be committed, you will achieve what you are aiming for. So for me, Humanist TV Africa, it will be one of the best online TV 2024. Yes. And the second thing I have to talk about is the program Eli Kitarok. That is, let's talk in Tarok program. It has to have to go, is going to get a really much more viewer. I have to thank Kabetu Brian for the idea that is sung into my score. So I'm going to use it to make sure that my Tarok falls, they will key into watching the program Eli Kitarok. We'll bring the program on marriage, politics, religion, and economy. Now, we on Eli Kitarok, we are not going to base on religion or attack anything about religion. It's all about humanity. So my Tarok falls, they will be kind of be free, to listen to the Eli Kitarok program on Humanist TV Africa without many other, Tarok people will be listening to the Eli Kitarok program on Humanist TV Africa in every other day. Also, I will be hosting other Tarok people to discuss about Tarok marriages, tradition. Those who know things about the Tarok culture and tradition, marriage, elderly people, I will go to them, we talk live. So that many other Tarok folks that, we are born out of Tarok land, they didn't know much about the Tarok culture, tradition, marriages and all that. With the advent of the Humanity TV Africa, they will get to know much about their culture and tradition. That's my prediction.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Nandip.
2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Nandip. Your predictions have been noted by Dennis Bongole, our producer, and Brian Kabeko, our producer. They have noted down your predictions. We are writing down whatever you guys have predicted, and we shall come here and compare notes. But of course, I know that one of your predictions will become right because HTV is going to become more stronger this year than last year. That one I know for sure is a very right prediction. You are smarter there. These are my predictions for the year 2024. I will start with my country, Uganda. It's a bad prediction, but I'm telling you, Uganda is going to have more bloodshed. There are going to be more assassinations. We just had an attempted assassination 8 days ago in Uganda. So I'm predicting we are going to have more popular people being shot dead in Uganda. Watch me, it's going to happen. because it has been happening, but it's going to worsen. And I'm predicting an attempted coup in Uganda. It may not succeed, but I'm seeing it coming. Some people are going to talk about regime change. There won't be regime change in Uganda this year because we have the most hopeless opposition in the whole world. So we shall not have any regime change this year, but the army and some militants may try to make a coup. I'm warning you, watch me, watch the space for Uganda. Our dictator Museveni is going to continue, but amidst tight security, there are going to be more assassinations and more targeted killings in my country. Bad prediction, but I'm seeing it coming. Now, there are going to be more coups in Africa, especially in West Africa, as countries that were French colonies that remain to be under the French government in captivity are going to continue to revolt against imperialism. And I see assassinations of militant leaders. I see, watch me, I see assassinations of leaders of the coups. I won't mention names, but we shall come here and compare notes. Check Mali, check Guinea, check Burkina Faso, check Chad, check Niger. There are going to be assassinations of coup leaders because it's a pattern I have observed over the years. Don't celebrate yet. These guys are going to be killed and more coups are coming your way. Sudan may not escape a coup, for example. Nigeria, I don't think you're going to be stable. Your election is going to be a disaster. Of course, we had it a few months ago, but Ghana, I'm seeing a bit of trouble in Ghana, given your ambitious parliament and scenario leader. You're going to be having trouble so much in Ghana. Africa side, of course, Africa will be much peaceful largely. We shall have more investors coming in, but of course, there are going to be some bit of chaos here and there. Now, looking at the West, I'm looking at Donald Trump versus Joe Biden in the next election in the US. Watch me. Donald Trump is going to come back despite the smear campaign. Of course, he's not a good man as such, but he's going to come back much stronger. And trust me, racist Americans are going to vote for him. Though, actually, I don't admire Biden at all. With the way Biden has handled Gaza, I no longer admire Biden at all. But trust me, racist Americans are going to front their man, Donald Trump. And it's going to be a battle again. That's my prediction. Now, when I look at India, there is Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi is more likely to become another leader yet again for India. And of course, he may more likely win another election for India, getting a third term in office, which is a 5-year-old term. Watch out, India. This guy is not about to go away. Then I'm going to look at UK, Rishi Sunak, the leader of UK, is going to continue to make things worse. That is my prediction. Nandip, watch me. This guy, the Prime Minister of UK, is going to make UK worse. That is my prediction this year. In terms of economic performance, in terms of so many indicators, this guy here they have is going to make this economy much worse in this year. I'll be coming here to compare notes at the end of the year, to compare how the economy was in 2023 December and how it will be in 2024. It will be much worse with this guy as a leader of UK. Rishi Sunak, to me, is not that smart. I don't think he's going to take these people very far. In terms of his economic policies, I see he's making so many blunders. Watch it. He's going to make more blunders. Now, I'm predicting, and mark this. Ghana, mark this. Nigeria, mark this. Write it down. I'm predicting that bad man, Benjamin Netanyahu, is going to be sacked very soon this year. I don't think Netanyahu is going to survive this year. This is my prediction. The people of Israel are fed up. He has been ruling them for the last 16 years. They are going to chase him like a dog. I predict that we shall come here and see if Netanyahu will be a leader of Israel by January 2024. I say he will not be a leader. They would have sacked him by the end of this year. My other prediction is on China. China is going to remain a strong economy. In fact, as I say, China is going to rival US to the extent of wanting to take over in terms of strength. China is stronger in terms of economics. And I tell you, my prediction is that USA is more likely to perform poorer, yet China, by so many indicators, is going to perform better this year. Watch it. We shall come here and compare these two countries, how they have performed economically, and I tell you, China will be edging them or beating them hands down. Then, of course, there are going to be more assassinations. I talked about West Africa. And of course, Uganda, attempted coup, I'm seeing it coming, and more assassinations of prominent leaders, including journalists and online journalists in Uganda. It's going to be really bloody. Now, those are my predictions for the year 2024. Not so good for some people, but let us watch the space and see if what I predicted can come to fruition. That was it for today. And of course, I want to welcome Nandip to give us a closing shot because we have passed our time. Nandip, close this show. We have said goodbye. Say your last word and close the gang for today.
Thank you, Kato, for giving me this opportunity to close up this gang show. I wish to kind of invite our viewers to subscribe, share, likes our Humanist TV Africa on YouTube, Facebook at Humanist TV Africa, and you can even write to us, at info@humanisttvafrica.com, or you can WhatsApp us on +254 74 73 56 767. If you want to have a chat with us, you can write to us. If you also want to to be host on our daily TV show, you are welcome. And if you have any suggestion for the growth of the Human TV Africa, it's for you, it's for everyone, it's for all Africans. Don't look at the name Humanist TV. Is for all Africans. We don't discriminate religious, non-religious, traditionalists. We are all one, and we are global. If you want to advertise, talk to us, talk to our producer, then you will be good to go because we are international. Thank you, Comrade Kato. Thank you, Brian Kabeko. Thank you, Dennis. Hope to see you tomorrow again.